Hey, hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Jeffrey Samaganda, and I'm the founder of the Action Wealth Academy, the Action Wealth System, and the Action Wealth series of guidebooks and training programs and seminars that helps individuals and companies all over the world to be the best they can be, create multiple streams of income, and learn to protect and keep their assets basically work for them. But I just came off a conference call where we teach experts all over the world to really position themselves as expert in a specific field and then package themselves through books, audio books, training programs, DVD, webinars, audio, online home study courses, seminars, and licensing product. And then they can now go out there and promote themselves as expert in that field and really go on to make a difference in other people's lives, but most importantly, make a fortune basically for themselves. There's nothing really more exciting than going out there and make a difference in other people's lives at the same time and making money. And remember that when you go to make a difference in somebody's life, with words, with knowledge, with information, it means that you are a student first. So people tend to forget that. So one of the questions people ask me on this conference call was, first of all, Jeffrey, how do you become an expert? That's the first question. And two, packaging yourself, writing books and audio programs, and it's not all really too difficult. I mean, it's easy for you, Jeffrey. You seem to be, you find it speaking easy, everything just comes naturally for you. How do somebody who just have a job and I'm not that wealthy, I don't have that much knowledge, how can I also become an expert even though I have an interest in a specific subject? And three, Jesus, where do you start to really market yourself? And because I don't want to write a book and nobody ever purchase or buy a copy. Those are the questions we're answering. But before we go to that particular, before I look at those particular questions, one of the key that I did notice on that particular call, the people seem not to understand the power of knowledge and information and what we do when we make a difference in people's lives. You see, my story, I was born in Uganda. And I was born in a place about 40 miles away from the capital city, Kampala. And that little place was devastated by war. I mean, there was something always happening when I was a little kid. From almost the age of 5 onward, there's always people fighting and people killing each other. And, I used to see so many dead bodies. And at one point, I just got enough. I mean, they killed so many people on that day. And I told my mother that we have to leave. My mother, she's a strong, very stubborn woman. She refused to go, and she said, if they want to kill me, they kill me in my house. I said to my mom, I love you, Mom, but I've got to go. I've seen enough, because I was one of those boys who used to, be part of a group of kids, run around, see the soldiers coming to warn the villagers to run. But that particular day, the soldiers were smart. They were walking backwards. So when we looked at the footprints after the rain, we saw footprints facing that way, but the soldier was still in the village. He told villagers to come back home, and on that day they killed so many people. I decided it was time for me to go. I told my mom, I told my auntie, and my brothers, and we just left. And when we left, we ended up, after working 3 weeks later, we ended up across our district, another district, and we got a bit of help because people in Africa would help each other, we rely on each other, and people did help us out for a little while. We were given food, but we knew that somehow we needed to figure out how to survive. Now I was the boy who knew how to ride a bike, so which means that it was suggested that they give me a list of stuff that we use on a regular basis, things like teas and coffees and sugar and salt and soap and cooking oil and things that we use on a regular basis to go and buy from a shop, which is literally like 2 hours of bike ride away. And you remember, I'm 9 years old, but I know how to ride a bike. I'm the one basically giving the list because I was a boy. Ride 2 hours later and then come back and we bought goods at a wholesale and we sold them at retail, and the difference, which now I understand is called profit, we used the profit to buy food. And that's really how my life basically started. And I really thank the war because I did learn to make a profit at the age of 9. Now, cut the story short, we went back home and my dad did find out because we were reunited later on. And my dad did find out that I was making money when we were when we were away. He said, from now on you make your own money. And I thank my dad because he really just kept me going by saying, make your own money. And when we have to run away again, because we have to run again, this time I can't remember exactly what was the reason, but because there's always something. This time I didn't want to be the man in the house. I left, I jumped in the truck, I came into town. I knew I had an uncle. I don't know who this uncle was, but I knew this uncle. I know we have one. I jumped in the truck. The truck did find me on top of the goods they were carrying under the covers, but they knew who I was, where I came from, because I used to make sure they see me when they're passing our house, when they stop for teas or coffees, and before they drive on. So they took me, I told them where I'm going. They took me to Kampala. I met my uncle, who was a mechanic repairing cars on the street. I thought my uncle was rich, but I didn't realize he actually only had a room, just a simple room. That was kitchen, bathroom, living room. There was nothing else for me to sleep, where to sleep, but that was it. So I knew this guy is going to send me back to the village, and that's something I'm not going to do. So apart from I needed to make myself useful. That's one of the things I teach kids. I had to make myself useful. Make myself useful really made me come with him at the garage where he repairs cars, and it became one of those kids who was fascinated to learn everything there was to learn, because I saw other kids there helping out. So I wanted to help, but I didn't want to be like any other kid helping. I wanted to get involved in fixing cars, like putting it apart and put it together. And within 3 months, I knew how to really take a Japanese car apart and put it together. I mean, that's what I did. I needed to make sure that this guy wanted to find me so useful that before he thinks about sending me back home, because really he didn't have anywhere for me to sleep, he'll have to think again. And it worked. He did actually almost forget that I was there. He always called Jeffrey, come and help out, because I was the kid who learned everything, including even driving the car. So I'm like 13 years old, and one day one guy came riding a moped, and he looked very young. This is one of the things I talk about in my training programs. This guy looked young, but sometimes the people can inspire you. You have to be able to relate to them. So many people were coming to our garage who were driving big cars, having nice motorbikes, but nobody that young. When I saw this guy, he looked like a 19-year-old boy. I said, how did you get one of these? He joked with me, said, come and work for me. And you know how it is. In the morning, I figure out where he works. I showed up. He said to me, Jeffrey, I was joking. I said, don't worry, I know how to make myself useful. You show me how your business works. I know I can learn, because I've been selling stuff when I was in the village. I know how to buy and sell. You can do the buying, I'll do the selling. We can build this business. And basically the guy agreed. In the meantime, my dad wanted to send me back to the village, but I'm not going back. But my goal was, that's how I learned about this concept of goals. My goal was, if I can make enough money, build myself a house, I can tell my dad that I'm a man now, I've got my own house, you can't send me back home whether you like it or not. That was my goal. So I worked so hard to make sure I can achieve that. But it didn't take long for me to realize that when you work for someone else, they're never ever going to let you make more money than they make. There was no way I was going to build my own house. But what that environment did teach me, though, that this guy was very smart and very intelligent and very articulate when it comes to money. What we brought in, what we spend, what was the profit, how much we're investing back in the business, how much we're going to spend. The whole accounting system was tight. We used to really make sure the books, balances, and I learned all this stuff in less than 6 months. And I thank that environment, because that environment prepared me to who I am today. Because I tell you what, we don't teach kids basic financial literacy, understanding what a profit, what a debit, what a liability, what's a credit. This stuff I did learn them from just working with this guy, and I thank him for that. But we all end up in situations that we can actually use to empower us. And I started making enough money until one day I realized, if I can't work here, I can't compete with this guy. I'm never going to make more money than this guy. I'm turning 14 years old. I'm getting old as far as I was concerned. I need something to happen. I needed to find somebody I can do business with to bring goods from the UK back to Uganda. We do wholesaling. That way I don't have to compete with my friends. I can become the wholesaler. I bring goods with my partner, send goods here. I give the money to someone else. The money basically went. Next strategy was, well, this time I'm going to try to find a way out to go myself. I can't trust anybody with more money. Now, it's a long story. I've written about it in my book. But one of the things I did, I made sure I found 3 partners I can basically convince that I'm going to the UK, I'm going to bring goods. If you get in joint venture together, we're all going to make a profit. These guys agreed. I made more money. I saved enough, bought myself a ticket. And I was 14, turning 15, jumped on the plane and landed in the UK. You see, when you're young and naive and not well informed about everything, you don't know what you can do. I did not know where I was going. I did not know it wasn't that simple, straightforward. All I knew, get a passport. I knew what to say when I get to the airport. I got my money to buy the goods, ready to go. When I arrived, I didn't realize how complicated this thing was. Now you might be wondering, Jeff, what this story got to do with exactly positioning, packaging people. And I'm telling you, this is where I come from. So the first question I want to answer, when you sit down and say it was easy for Jeffrey, no, it wasn't. But I didn't know anything else. You see, some people live life because they have a two-way traffic environment. They can always turn around when things don't go right. For me, I've always been in a one-way traffic. I have nowhere else to turn to. I'm on my own. I jumped on the plane at 14 years old. I landed in this country at turning 15. I had a friend. I had somebody who basically told me what to say. And I'm thankful for that particular lady. But I'm telling you what, there was no family member to hold my hand to tell me what to do. It was that complicated. However, when I tried to apply for a job, because I needed to work, because the money was running out, I was paying rent, surviving, and I bought the car the first week, second week I landed here, not knowing exactly that you can't just buy a car, but I saw a car, I had the money in my pocket, I purchased the car, I don't understand whatever it requires. Again, lack of knowledge, the naivety of not knowing with my strength, because when I bought a car, I found out a day later that actually I can get arrested and sent back to Uganda if I don't have insurance, MOT, driver's license, and and everything that the car basically needs. But I can't send the car back, so I'm stuck with the car. But in the meantime, I need more money, which means that when people are looking for little jobs to give them £80 a week to survive, I needed a job at least £150 a week in those days, just to survive. Because £50 go for the room I'm paying, I'm sharing with somebody. You know, a house I'm sharing with somebody. So in a way, I needed basically more money, which meant that when I wanted to get more money, they told me you need a work permit. Now I'm like, a work permit? What is that? It's a piece of paper the government allows you to go and get a job. But in the meantime, I'm thinking, how am I going to get one of those? But the one thing I knew I could do, I could sell stuff. So okay, fine. I'll start selling stuff because I don't seem to be asking too many questions for people who want to sell stuff. Now, by trying to find things to sell, that's when I came across the concept where people actually get paid commission for go around door to door selling stuff. And in that particular seminar environment, that's what I came across people saying that you can become anything you want to become, saying things like everything you want to do or become, there's someone who's already done that, and they've written a book about it, they've created a program about that. You can go and find that information in the library, it's a free seminar or paid for seminar or workshop or somehow you can buy an audio, listen to them. There's something for everything you want to do. And I'm like, there's a book, there's a seminar, there's a workbook, there's an audio program, there's everything I want to find, provided I know what I'm looking for. Yes. So if I want to become a businessman, I can find information how to become a businessman. Yes. If I want to be wealthy, there's information how to be wealthy. Yes. If I want to make money and basically pay my bills, yes. And I'm like, wow. Now, obviously, where I come from in Uganda, if you may be today, that information might not be available for every single person. But if you live where you have access to this information, you can become anything. The information is available, but the choice is basically is ours. So the first thing I picked up was a book. The book. How to set up your business from home. And I'm like, you can set up a business from home? But I didn't speak English very well. Which basically meant that I can't really run a business from home. I need to have an office. I need to employ other people. How do you employ other people? You go to a seminar and learn how to employ other people. And it's how do you set up a company? You just go learn how to set up a company. I found out it costs £10 to register a company. To register a company, £10. And they don't even ask you whether you have a work permit. Something like you can set up a company, nobody asks you for anything. But you want to get a job that pays you peanuts. And they ask you to get a letter from the home office allows you to work. Yes. I'm like, I set up a company. Where am I going to find people to work for me? They say they come from a job center. You go to a job center, people looking for work, they'll work for you. Just tell us what kind of people you're looking for. And I'm thinking, you mean intelligent, educated people can come and work for me for 30 days before I pay them? They're like, yes. And I was like, you must be kidding me. Because in Uganda, when I worked at the garage, if I don't see your money, I'm not working. Because I'm thinking you might not be able to have the money to pay me. You can just drive off. And I said, no, this is the UK. People can work for 30 days. I mean, intelligent people, yes, with degrees, yes. I'm like, I like this. We set up a first business. We're employed by 30 people. They started going out selling services, discounted phone calls from companies, door-to-door knocking. I didn't speak a word of English. I found somebody who basically could. And we went out selling other stuff that calculators and mobile phones and anything basically you can imagine. We just go and selling guys on the street to sell this stuff. And we're making more money. Young people have been here for years. They were well educated. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is possible? Yes. And then because I learned the concept of you can become anything, I started to take every single course you can imagine. Every single course. You know, if you come to real estate, I want to take a course on real estate. And also learn the more money you pay for a course, the more good content you're going to get. So I started taking courses in management and business systems, sales and marketing, real estate investment, stock market investment, business solution, personal development, health and nutrition, you name it. I was taking it. I was just doing 20 different courses every day. And in the end, I realized I can't do everything. I need to run these seminars myself. So I became bringing speakers and people all over the world to come and teach anybody who wants to learn this particular information. So with that background information I just told you where I'm coming from, don't make a mistake of thinking that you can't do anything. If I could, oh, trust me, you can. But it takes time, dedication, and really the decision. Because at the end of the day, what else are you doing? If you're not going to pursue your dream, if you're not going to pursue something you believe in, if you're going to learn about this thing you call a hobby and someone else calls it a profession. You know the reason I call it a hobby? Because you don't get paid. The day you start getting paid, that's when you start to be called a professional. So a professional is somebody who gets paid. So why don't you take that knowledge and spend more time reading and studying and go to seminars and hang around people who do that? It could take you 1 year if you read one book a week on one specific subject to become an expert in that particular subject. And then you can go and take that information and package it well in the way that people can consume, that people pay for practical, tangible things like books, like audiobooks, training programs, seminars and workshops and webinars and stuff. They pay for real stuff. They don't just, because everything you listen to right now, tomorrow you won't remember even 10% of what I've said. So you need to be packaged. And the other thing is books. And this information makes you an expert in those particular subjects. You see, if you're an expert in the subject, you don't make enough money or you don't make any money because you have nothing to sell. And then to package yourself, to promote yourself, then you need to take, you're now an expert, you're practicing because by teaching you become more informed, you practice, become more better. The more you do it, the better you become, the more confident you become about your message. And if you package it within books, audiobooks, training program, DVD, workbook, home study courses, 1-day seminar, 2-day weekend, week seminars, you can license those programs and train other people. You call train the trainer, to train other people and coaches and mentors all over the world to teach on your particular information. You can now go on to promote yourself by using technology. Online, the internet changed the way we do business, changed the way you can do business with people all over the world by licensing your information, and you can just jump on a plane and go to the airport, find out the next plane, wherever it lands, just jump on it, get up there, put an advert in the paper, use social media to connect, invite 20 people there, and they'll be able to find anybody who can work with you and start sharing that message, that information with someone else. I've done that so many times. So you've got to understand that I love this. I don't do this for money. No, I do take the money, don't get me wrong, and I'm not cheap. But if you call me at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'll be up. And I'll be learning, I'll be studying, I'll be working towards something. If I'm working on a project, I'll be working on it tomorrow until it's done. I was working with a client last night and he called, he said, 4 o'clock, Jeffrey, you're still working on this is my book. You're putting so much as if it's yours. I said, no, it's not a book, my friend. This information can change someone's life. The more energy you put into make sure you can package it in a way that that person can actually receive this information, because if you package it well, people will pick it up. And that person, it could be the person can relate to you, can say, you know what, this guy is exactly like me. If you manage to make it, from being a laborer to today, setting up businesses and run the company, sells over $300 million, I can do that. I come from the same environment. You know, there are people that I can't inspire, but you can. But the people that you cannot inspire, only me can. That's what telling your story, that way people can relate to that. I used not to believe that. I used to believe that you don't tell people where you're coming from. You keep all that secret so that you can think you are born a superstar. No, we all just learn this stuff. You know, if over the years I've been reading and studying, go to seminars, I hang around the right people, why shouldn't I grow? Humans have the ability to do that. I'm asking you, you have the choice. This is 2014. This is January. It's almost finished. February is going to go, and then March, and then summer, and then another year. You got to make a decision and say, this year I'm going to be 10 times wiser, stronger, more competent than I was last year. And I'm going to choose one topic, and I'm going to work with that topic and become very good at that. I'm going to package myself into a book, a workbook, a training program, a seminar. Even if I give it away, it's the #1 marketing tool for you. And most importantly, at least your kids will get to know what you believed in. That's somebody who's interested in making a difference and an impact in other people's lives. Whether you go and set up your own company or work for someone else, you can best take that knowledge and help you really. The better you become, the more valuable you become, the more money you're going to make. You get paid based on the value you bring to the marketplace. Yes, I know I have this not about to be structured conversation. I'm just talking to you, but I want you to understand you're able to do anything. Is it going to be easy? Wow, you're telling me what is easy. Trust me. People say, well, you know, listen, whether you're working towards your success or you're working towards your failure, it's hard. You see, I'd rather be miserable with money and be miserable without it. People say, oh, rich people are miserable. Well, wouldn't you rather be rich miserable than poor miserable? But you know something? People pursue their dreams and make an impact in other people's lives, creating things that makes other people better or makes the world a better place. Trust me, they're less miserable than you are, who basically have nothing to offer. One of the things I ask my 2 little girls is that what it is that has your name on it. Because people created things with your name on it, they're the one who make this world a better place. What have you created that has your name on it? From today, the question you need to ask yourself, if it's too late for you, don't let it be too late for your children. Send our kids to school for, God knows, 25,000 hours of studying, and they come out, they don't have enough. The only thing they have left is to learn from their parents. But if you as a parent is struggling, how do you expect your kids to do better? Yes, there's always going to be that kid who's going to do better regardless. But we need to give as much support as we can. We don't give them support by telling them, we'll do this, but we teach them by doing. Kids learn from what we do, not what we say. You know what we say. That's how it works. Don't worry, you'll be amazed. How come my kids turn up like that? Well, guess who's been the teacher? I know this is a hard pill to swallow, and I move from one thing to the other, but yes, I can conclude. You can become an expert. Just read one book a week on one subject. Go to seminars, feed your mind with information taken in that particular direction. And find somebody who can help you to package that knowledge and turn into a documentation that people can consume. So you can amplify your message all over the world. And then get out there and make a difference by promoting yourself using technology, online, pay people to go and make money by selling information, and let your face be the one that goes out there and contribute and make a difference. Because I tell you what, we need more people like you to go and make a difference in other people's lives. I can rant on, but hopefully you could find this little video useful. Sure, maybe if you didn't know me well, now you know me better. There, it's always been never that easy. It's just decision making. Some people decide to go and buy a bottle of wine. I go and buy a book. Some decide to go and spend money on things that, let's even on a holiday. There are times they just choose to go to a seminar. we have different choices. No one is right, no one is wrong. It's just that the people you say the things come naturally to them, they just spend more hours doing it. Nobody's better than you are. They just started much faster than you are. They just know something that you don't know. If you make a decision from today to look and learn that particular stuff, you can actually be as good as they are. And you know something, if you're not doing that, what's the point of being... Life becomes so hard and so difficult, and you might as well go through this journey having a good time, trying to make an impact. Those who have hope for the future, they're usually much more happier than those who basically think it's the end of the time or the end of the world. They're not going anywhere. I'll leave you with this. You can become anything. But the formula is simple. Decide what you want to do with your life. Okay? Feed your mind with information that is taking you there. Listen to something that takes you in that direction. Read something taking you in that direction. Hang around the similar kind of people. Because they say, you know what, birds of the feather. Right. The 5 people you spend the most time with represent everything about you. You are the average of those 5. So by changing people around you, go to the right seminar, read the right stuff. If you feed yourself with information taking in that particular direction, that's the first part. And then you need to feed your body with the good stuff, because sometimes people don't do well purely because they don't feel well. Feed yourself with information that gives you the support that you need for your mind. Health and nutrition, exercise, learn and do something better. And the final piece, present yourself the way you want the marketplace to perceive you, because you never have another opportunity to make the first impression. And remember, the first impression is always the last impression. The next part, learn to create multiple streams of income, because people are wealthy, financially wealthy individuals, because they have multiple streams of income. The final piece of the jigsaw is learn to protect. So many people are rich yesterday and they're poor today because they learn to make money, but they don't learn to keep it. So make sure you keep it and make the money work for you. If you have never been sued before, because the marketplace do not perceive you have anything worthwhile. When you do, they'll be after it. Until next time, you take care. God bless. Bye for now. Hope to see you in one of my upcoming seminars all over the world, or you can maybe give me a call, connect with me on social media. Share this video with a friend if you want to, if you find it useful. Till next time, take care. God bless. Bye for now.